Hi kids, welcome to Terry on Tuesday, coming to you from the freezing cold kitchen, which is why I've got my coat on, and I just got back in anyway. So as promised, I have done a wee bit of work on the bane of my life, Marvin's arms, Marvin's upper arms. So then you've got shoulder, bicep, elbow. A lot of work that I promised myself I'd do, I haven't done for all sorts of reasons, but we're getting there. So I've been focusing mainly on the round pieces at the top here, the top of the shoulders. They're coming rather nicely now, dead smooth. You can see some lines. That line is supposed to be there, by the way, that ridge, that little carved line. There are some lines there. It's not as bad as it looks. I think once it's had a coat of primer paint, it'll be fine. Need to do a bit more smoothing on that, probably stick a bit of filler in there. But as usual, I hate sanding. I just hate it. I'm no good at it. I tend to sand either too much or not enough. But it's getting there. This is the back of the arm. I'm not worried too much about it. This needs a bit of smoothing off. That one's done. I don't think I'm going to bother with filler on that. Just smooth this bit off here. I'm not going to worry about the print lines on that because it's the back of the arm. This bit, most of this will be hidden by metal plates, etc. But it's getting there. I'm probably going to put some filler on there because there is a slight indentation. Can you see the sort of shape there? So that's got to have filler on it. So that's the one arm. I've been bouncing between one and the other. This one is a lot heavier because it's got a lot more filler on it, but as you can see, I've started smoothing this off. That's almost done. A little bit to do here, a little bit to do there. Gonna smooth all that off so you don't notice the filler going into the plastic. That needs a bit of cleaning out. See in there, it's very thick filler. But again, I've been focusing on the top here, so the top is quite smooth. That's a bit nasty. Needs a bit of. Hang on, is this the? That's the reasonably soft one. Yeah, I'm gonna put some spot filler on little bits here. I'm not going to put a big chunk of it. I'm just going to put a little spot here and there. Sand it all down, smooth it off. Not worried about the insides, as I say. This has got more done on the back. You can see this line here. All that needs sanding down. It doesn't need any more filler. I'm just going to go and sand any bits that are a little bit sort of sticky outy, as they say. That bit's okay. I'm not going to worry about that. That's okay. Oh, actually, yeah, that's got a bit of that. I think that needs filler. It's a little bit too rough, a bit too coarse. There's a difference in weight. That's a lot heavier. Why is that a lot heavier? It's just the amount of filler on it. But yeah, I'm not even going to worry about trying to clean up all the detail and stuff on here. It'll take forever to try and clean all this up. I'm just going to hit it with as many coats of thick filler primer as I can and see how that goes. Right, so where do we go from there? Well, once those are done, I'm going to get me some primer in, and much like the head, give it plenty of coats of primer, give it a few days in between coats, I think, just to let it go off properly. Then hit it with a couple of coats of silver and then a clear lacquer on top, like I've done with the head, and the head looks great. Admittedly, you know, like any costume, certain parts are going to be better than others. And let me sit down, for God's sake. Certain parts of a costume will be better than others. I'm focusing on obviously the sort of the top half, etc. Especially the head. People look at the face more than anything else, I've noticed. And you can get away with shoddiness. Now, why do I accept shoddiness? There are people out there who are costume makers and prop builders and that, who are probably screaming now that how much of a cowboy I am. But I used to be a bit of a perfectionist, and life's too short, to be honest. I always tell this story. After going through months of painstaking assembly and attention to detail, my very first Stormtrooper costume, I finally put it on, went to a big convention in Birmingham, and some kid pointed at us and said, "Hey Dad, what are they?" Because he was only little, and the father said, "Daleks." Which kind of makes a mockery of the whole point that, you know, and everything had to be dead perfect, the right shades of paint, the right screws, the right everything. And now the argument to that would be like, well, we're doing it for us, we're not doing it for them. But you know what? Most people are happy with, you know, progress, not perfection, is the motto, isn't it? So, you know, I think it will be semi-decent. Again, time is not on our side. I've got to get all these bits finished and assembled, and I've got to try it on a couple of times and make sure it's comfortable to wear, or as comfortable as a very boxy robot costume can be, in time for the end of July, because the Tattoo Con's going on at the end of July. And if I can get it all together and have it reasonably the same shade of silver and not fall apart on me when I walk around, I'll consider that a win. I can still do more work on it in future and keep pottering away with it, tinkering away with it. I might do. But right now I've got to get to the finish line. And no, I'm not bothered. I'm not as bothered as I used to be. I'm not bothered as some people. And I do have other friends working on stuff for me. My mate Steve has been doing the feet. The feet have turned out really nice. The ankles, and now he's working on the shins. And he loves the sanding and filling process. He's great at it. And I'm very, very thankful that he is, because I hate it. I do hate it with a passion. And 3D printing, while 3D printing has saved this costume, it's made it possible to make these parts reasonably accurately and quickly, etc., and light and everything. It still brings its own problems, such as the finish, etc. This is not, the reason that these are hard to sand is it's not standard ABS plastic. It's called PLA, and PLA doesn't sand at all very well. You can rub the heck out of it. That's why you need all the filler, because the filler sands better than the plastic surface. The plastic surface won't sand down. Anyway, that's enough of my excuses. I will carry on with these in the next few days. I'll probably do a bit this afternoon, actually. Just very gently rubbing down the bits that, you know. My problem is I think I sand too hard and take too much off. So I've got to learn to go a bit more gentle on it. But again, I do have a sander. You can see that little orange thing in the corner? That's Minnie Mouse, the mouse sander. But that would involve putting it out the window and standing out there for a while and getting the sand right. I'm having more accuracy doing it by hand at the moment with sandpaper and blocks than I would with the mouse sander. And the mouse sander is A, eating up my electricity, and B, blows dust everywhere, including all over me, which means all my clothes have to go in. Every time I do a bit of sanding, my clothes have to sort of come off here, and because the dust is bad for you. It's very bad for you. When you sand with paper, the dust generally hits the floor. And, you know, I do have a respirator. Don't worry about that. But the upshot is I'm getting more done by hand to a better quality that I prefer. I have plenty of the green stuff. That's this really smooth stuff here. It's called Dolphin Glaze, and it is basically the same as standard filler, made by U-Pol, same people who make P38, but it's squishy like custard. It goes on a lot smoother, and when you sand it, oh, lovely, silky smooth, great stuff. That's 440 mils. So that's just under a pint of it, and that will be about 11 quid online. eBay's your probably best bet for that. Great stuff, got loads of that, it goes quite far. So that's that. A little bit more to talk about. I'm not going to keep you guys much longer. I just wanted to show you what I've been doing. The film is still going ahead, crawling slowly.
Bloody stupid!
If you want updates, I always, with the film, because it's in pre-production and there's nothing to really tell you about at this stage apart from I've written the script. All my updates go here, bloodystudents.co.uk, and as you will have noticed in recent social media pics, more 3D printing. I'm going to be taking delivery soon of a 7 feet or 8, I think it's about 7 feet tall Egyptian sarcophagus lid made of loads of different 3D printed parts like this, which will be glued together and painted and finished. Now we're not going to coat the entire thing in that, otherwise it'll cost a fortune and it'll weigh a ton. But we'll find some method, may even be a thin coating of resin, fiberglass resin over the entire thing to soften it all out. I have been told there's an aerosol spray you can buy of a sort of resin that will go on so thick that it will cover all the print lines. And with something like an Egyptian sarcophagus, that will be fine. It's going to be weathered and dirtied and sanded and put actual sand on it and stuff. So it will need to look old and decrepit anyway, so it doesn't have to be a very fine finish like a robot. So there's a lot going on with that. We're still trying to raise money. The budget for the film is hovering around the 5,400 mark. I say hovering because occasionally we dip into it to buy stuff, so like the sarcophagus for example. Plus we registered the script, so it's copyright protected. Which is always a sensible thing to do at this stage, I think. And again, you know, there's certain things you have to sort of shell out for, and then the money comes back in, so it's hovering up and down. But like I say, the money isn't coming in very much at the moment. I'm not going to jump into a Kickstarter, or Indiegogo was going to be my plan. I'm not going to do that just yet. We're going to get further along down the line with everything else that needs to be done. I want to start preparing for convention season and hopefully get a table where we can have some bloody students paraphernalia and the sarcophagus once it's finished, and maybe some of the silicone masks, etc., to show people what we're trying to do and try and raise some money that way. It's always a bit of a risk with the convention. We did quite well with Offworld with raffles and sales of t-shirts and stuff, but you do have to shell out, you know, your time and your money to get a table and get banners printed and all sorts of things like that, and t-shirts, etc. So we'll see how it goes. Convention season is always fun, and it's nice to have a table, but it's horrible if you're on your own because you're stuck there on your own behind a table, and I like to go for walks. So anyway, we'll see how that goes. Other than that, not a lot to report. I'm probably going to start on the 5th draft of the script. Why? Because the more I read it, the more I think that bit could be improved a little bit, that could be a bit funnier. And you don't have all your ideas in one sitting, basically. You do a draft and then you go, oh, I could have put that in. So you add stuff. That's why films go through so many drafts. But we're covered up to draft 4, which I think is a pretty good 87 page, 90 page, no, it's under 90 minutes, which is good, script, and that gives me some time to expand a couple of scenes by about 3 pages. It gives me 90 minutes, 90 pages, and I think it'll be better at the 5th draft. Well, that's the plan. They should be getting better, and we'll see how that goes. We have had a lot of actors send their stuff in, so if you're one of the actors who have sent in your photos and show reels and CVs, etc., etc., thank you for that. We're not going to make any hard and fast decisions just yet. There are a few people that have been cast. They're people who I wanted from day one. But we're going to look, I would say later on this year, we probably sort of start making some decisions as to who can go into what role. Once the number of submissions have sort of finished, you know, give everyone a chance to sort of send their stuff in, and then we'll start looking at potentially making some choices for the remaining cast members. Right, that's it for me this week. Sorry it's just been talk and a little bit of waffling and a ton of excuses, but it's either that or you get no video whatsoever because I've been a bit rubbish with videos recently. So, thanks for watching. As usual, what do all the YouTubers say? Smash that like button, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell, or generally all that kind of malarkey. Comments are always welcome. Constructive criticism is always welcome. Any other type is not welcome, so forget it. And yeah, have fun, stay safe, and I will see you next week. Take care now. Bye bye then.